Warning, this program contains frank and honest discussions on sexuality. Viewer discretion is advised.
So what's your favorite color?
Pink.
Pink? That's awesome.
That was so quick too, you're ready.
She knows.
Purple.
Blue.
Red.
Where did you get this jacket?
Jack and Jones.
What's your favorite Subway sandwich?
Italian BMT.
What's your major?
Right now I'm getting a degree in social work.
All right, so what's your favorite sex position?
Oh.
Okay, so what's your favorite sex position? So what's your favorite sex position?
I don't know. I'm pretty lazy, so maybe just missionary.
So what's your favorite sex position?
I don't know. All of them.
All of them. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. We talked to U of C students about what sex is, and here's what they had to say. So they defined it as giving and receiving pleasure from another person. Anything with clothes off that is beyond kissing.
Oh, wow.
Which is, I thought that was like a very inclusive definition.
It's
true. Like that was very, very general. And then performing oral, anal, or any form of penetrative sex, climax not required but appreciated.
The Student Union's Q Center is a safe and inviting space for the LGBTQA+ community at the University of Calgary. Kate and I had an opportunity to talk with Braden and Taylor from the center.
And what do you do at the Q Center?
Peer mentorship. So basically we're there if you ever want to come and talk. If you have any questions about sexuality or any issues regarding sexuality, there's like a group of ample and eager volunteers to they're just there and they're willing to ask your questions. We have free condoms, we have free lube.
Nice. Those can get expensive, so that's always helpful.
Yeah.
And what about you?
Well, I find that it's a rather welcoming place for anybody who just wants to be able to hang out. It's an open space where I know I can be accepted. It's just nice to be able to go somewhere where I know I'm going to find people who are similar to myself.
Yeah. All right, so today we're going to talk about what sex is, because sex can be different for so many people, right? Mm-hmm. So obviously lots of people think of the stereotypical heterosexual penis and a vagina sex, but
mm-hmm.
that is not the same for everyone, So do you have any thoughts on that? What would you define as sex?
Sex is, define as sex. I know. Sex is really different because the way we define it, like you said, it's really heteronormative, and there's so many different ways, and it blew my mind as learning as a volunteer, the training we went through, the different ways that people show intimacy, and it's not always physical, but intimacy between different couples is so different, and it varies so much from what I even understood. There are a lot of couples, people that identify as asexual, but that are still highly romantic, and so they show intimacy in other ways, whether it could be physical through either just hugging or cuddling, and it could be intellectual. Some people are purely pleasured through intellectual stimulation, and there's nothing physical, and so it's such a spectrum.
Exactly.
I think it's really important also to identify the heteronormativity of some kind of penetration. Sex doesn't have to be penetrative, right? There can be any kind of classification in between, right? People who want, who can define their own sexuality. People think that just oral is the be-all of sex. That is still sex, and that's sexuality, right? That's not just a stepping stone to having anything more, which is interesting.
We posted on our Facebook page to our members, and we're kind of contribute some ideas of what you think sex could be, a definition, and it's so all over the place, and it's just nobody takes a minute to think about what it is. You know what I mean? There's the stereotypical textbook definition, but if you're thinking of a heteronormative act of sex, it's well then, if two girls are having sex, that's not how it goes. Does that not count as sex anymore? Of course it does, It's just opening up that definition.
Opening it up maybe so that it's defined more as just an intimate connection between two people, regardless of what that entails.
I think we heard a lot of interesting stuff from Braden and Taylor about, sex is, it's such a wide spectrum.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just even they were talking about how just bringing that up and how asexual people can still be intimate and You know, like it's so like it can go from like no touching all the way to like dick in your mouth. You know what I mean? Like it's such a huge spectrum. So like what would you define as sex personally for yourself?
I think it's really tough. I think when you come to sexuality, for me, it almost changes per experience. Because I've had times where like, I've been kissing with somebody or something like that, and it's been really intimate, that it felt much more, like the closeness, like intimacy was more than I've had doing full, you know, anal, for example, which is bizarre to say out loud on a TV show. But
it's okay, we can say it. Can we say it right now?
Yeah.
Okay, anal!
You know, and that's the thing, I think it's so important with having these discussions too, is reclaiming people's sexuality.
Another thing we learned is that the Q Center has a lot of resources. They have a safe space, lots of learning opportunities there. And so if you guys ever need to check that out, I'm sure they would welcome you with open arms.
Yeah.
And that's on main floor, Mac Hall.
Mac Hall, yeah, right next to the Black Nut Lounge.
Yeah.
I also I think it's really great that they offer, it's not just for people who are LGBTQA+, it's for anyone to feel safe and welcome. I think that's really amazing. So make sure you check them out.